Nestle's Nesquik. In case you don't know, it's a milkshake brand, but over time the brand name and the mascot have had some massive changes. For one, the name's actually been changed, as it used to be called Quick. This was then changed to Nesquik to reinforce Nestle's brand. However, the brand mascot has also been named Quickie. Now we all know today that's a brown bunny, but the mascot has been through the biggest change out of any other mascot on this list. Quickie actually used to be a man, a cowboy to be exact. This was then changed to a cowboy bunny rabbit, and now it's simply a bunny rabbit. So, which was your favorite rendition of Quickie, the cowboy, the cow bunny, or the bunny? Next up is Mickey Mouse. We all know that Mickey Mouse is a cartoon produced by Disney, but don't forget, Mickey's also the mascot of the entire company and been featured on the company's logo. Mickey used to be black and white with blue shorts and a pencil back when he was hand-drawn by cartoonist Walt Disney. He then transformed into something similar to what we see today, but with a pencil. Then came Mickey with a stretched-out head, and then finally we have almost what we have today, but with a color drained, and now we have the full-color version, which we all know and love today. Which was your favorite Mickey? I assume it was whatever one was around in your childhood. Next up is Mr. Clean. This muscular, bold Vin Diesel lookalike is the mascot behind one of the best-selling cleaning brands of all time. The mascot is very tanned, and you can only see the top half of him. But on the original image of Mr. Clean, his whole body can be seen. And he's also in black and white, seeing as he was first designed in 1958. And Mr. Clean's even holding a baby in the original design. Sorry, ladies, it looks like Mr. Clean is taken. But then again, in a recent ad, a creepy IRL version of Mr. Clean can be seen all over the ladies. What do you think about Mr. Clean's transformation? Check out the poll in the top right corner and vote for your favorite brand mascot on this list. And be sure to check out my second channel, The Crafty. There'll be a Crafty video coming up on screen in a moment, so click it to check it out. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10.
New Create Your Own Ultimate Feast is on. Choose 4 of 10 craveable creations and create your feast today.
move your head towards mine.
Scoot over, scoot over. My arms are not long enough, you guys.
Get it. We're living on the edge.
Boys, we gotta back up just a little bit. Back up. Back up. Back up.
Stay in the frame. Stay in the frame. Willow, just stay in the frame.
Guess where I am?
Paris.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 12 people who had one job and failed. So, there are some pretty easy jobs that people do in the world, but it seems that some people can't even do the most simple tasks you can imagine. These are some people who failed hilariously, and it was caught on camera. But before we get into it, do not fail to press the subscribe button and the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10, we have yellow lines. If you look on the side of most roads, you'll see those two yellow lines. In the UK, they basically mean you can't park there. I don't know if other countries have these and if they do what they mean there. But anyway, in most UK roads, you'll have these two yellow lines saying do not park. Now, you're probably thinking it's a pretty easy job to spray those two yellow lines up a street. But as you can see in this picture, the painters weren't sure how to get around an obstacle. And that obstacle just happened to be a big Land Rover parked right on their street. Maybe these guys are just dopes, or maybe they were annoyed seeing as the guy parked there where he shouldn't have. Either way, they decided to use the yellow lines over this guy's car. This only really works if the guy stays parked there, because as soon as he leaves, that area will not have any yellow lines. I feel kind of bad for this guy, seeing as there were no yellow lines before, so he didn't know not to park there. This kind of looks like that abstract Banksy art, except way more annoying for the guy who owns the car. I don't even know who messed up more here, the guys who drew those lines or the guy who owns the car. Next up is back to school. So we all know that terrible moment as kids when your mom says, let's go back to school shopping. It's where you have to walk around Target or a clothing store for hours on end picking out new school supplies. Now in my day it was stuff like pencils, pens, but nowadays they seem to have changed things. As you can see under this back to school section, there's a ton of knives. Now, I assume this was just an unfortunate placement, but considering the stuff that's been going on down in some schools recently, I wouldn't be doing this. Yeah, chances are someone got fired that day. I just hope no parents are as dopey as the guy who put this sign up and really bought their kid a knife to go to school with. Hey, I didn't like algebra either, but that is going way too far. Next up, we have named and shamed. If you turn on your local news, you'll likely see some guy getting locked up for something. It'll be some guy who's committed a crime and now he's being publicly named and shamed with his mugshot. Well, that's exactly what happened to one person on something called 11 News in the USA. This guy had apparently injured a dentist. So they put his mugshot and his first name and last name. The only problem is that they didn't fill in his first name and last name, so it literally came up saying first name, last name. I assume their graphics editor got fired that day, so this is a pretty big mess up. This guy goes out of his way to do something terrible and doesn't even get the recognition he deserves. I think I'd be pretty happy being this guy though, as now you can at least remain anonymous. Unless the guy's name is actually first name, last name. In that case, his parents had one job and failed. Next up is yearbook. So I'm sure all of you guys have had a yearbook from your middle school, high school, or your college. Sometimes people like to mess with the yearbook by doing a dumb face or a funny quote. But if you look at the bottom half of this yearbook, it all seems pretty normal, right? Well, if you look at the line above, you'll notice something very strange. Yeah, it seems Ben Keiser looks a lot like Teresa Kennedy. Okay, but really, there must have been some error and the editor of this yearbook really did mess up. I'm assuming the man is actually called Ben. And if that's the case, then I feel very sorry for Teresa. Who knows, maybe she appears somewhere else in this yearbook. Or maybe she's not even in it, and when she looks back at her yearbook in 10 years, she'll be shaking her head. Next up is floating phone. So, what could be worse than dropping your phone in a lake, river, or swimming pool and it floating right to the bottom? You're likely never going to get the phone back if that happens. Well, that's why one company made something called the floating phone. This phone is $129 and apparently floats on water. If you don't believe them, just look at this sign. But if you look down to the fish tank to see their own proof, you can see they busted their own myth. It seems this phone does not float as it's sunk right to the bottom of this fish tank. Maybe the phone only floats when it's charged up or something. Either way, this is not a good advertisement, and I hope this store changes it right away. Next up is Irony Cookie. So, many people love going to Chinese restaurants, not just for the food and atmosphere, but also for the fortune cookies. Not only do they taste pretty nice, they also come with a fun fortune. Now granted, a lot of the time they're just corny phrases. But it seems the fortune cookie maker had one job and failed when it comes to this fortune cookie. As you can see, the fortune is on the outside of the cookie. The whole point is that you break the cookie and get the fortune, but this ruins the fun. And to make things even more ironic, it said the job is well done. But clearly their job is not well done, seeing as the fortune is not even inside the cookie. Next up, we have third place. Do you guys get annoyed by all those participation medals and trophies you get nowadays? It used to be you just get first place, but now everyone gets a medal. Well, here's one rank I really have not ever heard of. As you can see, this medal says first place. Yeah, instead of writing third, they actually messed up and wrote thirst. Maybe this medal is really just like a big slap in the face, saying you did not do well. But it's pretty funny that people giving out awards can't even write the awards properly. Next up is fire. So we all know that in some places there are special parking places for emergency services. For example, there may be a special parking slot for an ambulance. Well, outside one building there's a special spot for fire engines. But as you can see, the road painters seem to have a very bad form of dyslexia. Either that or they just had a big night out and haven't fully recovered yet. As you can see, they wrote fry instead of fire. Hopefully the firemen aren't as dopey as them and they work it out. But it's still not very helpful to misspell something where emergency services park. Next up is superheroes. Whether you were a kid in the 1950s or a kid today, you love superheroes. It's something that just seems to be timeless, and kids get superhero everything. They get comic books, t-shirts, action figures, but another